Iron Maiden had come out of their green room to our green room. For
Right.
them, I know somebody who has the girl who has my face tattooed on her arm.
How did that song happen? Why did that song happen?
In Kashmir, in particular, by these terrorists, they kidnap people, and it's and then the families who are back home till the time they don't know what the fate of their loved ones is. The song is from the point of view of the families because every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to teach you how to play music.
Yeah.
Array bloody take take birth first, yeah. Get a life first. Come
Taking
on.
it from the top, we are amidst greatness. We have none other than the face of Indian rock, which is the might and the prowess of none other than the lead vocalist of one of the greatest bands that India has ever produced, Parikrama's Mr. Nitin Malik. Welcome to the show. How are you doing?
Hi. I'm good, thanks. Thanks.
I know you've probably been asked this a million times, but unfortunately, I'm going to ask you the same old question that everyone's asked you.
You've never asked me that before, so you're free to ask me anything.
I know you were reading something and you came upon the word parikrama. Can you tell us a bit about how that word came to you and
Oh,
how it all started for you? Yeah.
it's a long, long story. I'll try to make it as short as possible. Okay.
Okay.
Parikrama is like a Hindi Sanskrit word. It basically means a revolution. A revolution, not like an uprising, but a parikrama means taking a circle around something, and coming back. In Hinduism, we do that a lot around temples. We do a
Correct.
parikrama of the temple, like from the outside and things like that. Recent documentary on Netflix, Wild Wild Country,
Yeah.
if you know the guy I'm talking about.
Yeah, 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 of course.
Yeah, so I was one of those orange robe, saffron robe, or
Wow.
whatever. No, sorry, not saffron, never saffron. Purple, purple robe
Yeah, yeah.
followers, and I
Color
was still
check.
in school. And so my mom we used to get this fortnightly magazine
Right.
about what's happening in Osho centers. So the same column in Hindi was called Vishwa Parikrama,
Oh, okay.
and World View was in English, and Vishwa Parikrama. Vishwa is world.
International word. Yeah.
Parikrama is means going around the globe.
Hmm.
So essentially meaning the same thing. But the word really stuck out, and I was like, this word sounds really. I had no clue what it meant.
Hmm.
Essentially, life and everything being cyclical. Everything like you've heard. You ultimately, you come from the earth, and that's where you go back.
Hmm.
Ultimately, you turn to dust, turn to ashes. What are we doing right now? One day we'll be in the ground on which people will be standing, and
Fair
that
enough.
is exactly where we came out from. The
Right.
picrom will be complete. The circle
Interesting.
will be complete. The
Interesting.
prophecy shall be fulfilled.
Right. Prophecy reminds me Matrix 4 is going to be coming out. I'm really looking forward to it. But anyways,
Really?
let's yeah, Matrix 4 is finally coming on. Priyanka Chopra is going to be in it, so it's going to be really interesting. That's what
Okay,
I've
one
heard.
reason to not watch it, but okay. I'm just kidding. Of course, I'll watch it. I'll be all patriotic and shit. Yay!
So, trying to think, the band when it first came together, who are the founding members, and when did you guys start? I know you guys started in 1991, but did you informally start before that, you and your brother?
Yeah, informally, we had started jamming and stuff before that. We had a few stupid names also, as you know, these juvenile delinquents who are just out of an all boys school,
Yeah.
and they learn how to play three chords on a guitar. What would they call it? One of them was called Suspended Fourth Asylum, and I think
It
one of
has
them
to
had the.
sound extremely obscure for it
Yeah,
to.
one of them I think had the word blood in it for some stupid reason. We're not even a heavy metal, the deathcore, that kind of a band.
Yeah.
Anyway, so with the founding method, originally when we named the band, the day and we named and it started off was 17 June 1991.
Hmm.
From the original founding members, now we're only two of us, me and Subir, who are playing in the
Got it.
band.
Mhm.
Sonam passed away last year.
Yeah, and I was going to talk about him too, Sonam.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so he was also one of the founding members. So we were three of us for the longest time.
So, so let's see. You know what's interesting is I was going through your wiki page and some other pages associated with Parikrama, and I came upon one article. I think it was in Rolling Stones, and I'm just going to look it up here. And it talks about how in the 70s there were bands that did rock and roll in India, and they were from Bengal, a lot of them. Do you know about the origins of rock in India or rock and roll and where it all began? Because
Uh,
you've been the face predominantly, you meaning the band of Parikrama has. But I didn't know
mm,
that, if you could give the audiences an idea of where English music and playing in concerts began essentially prior to you.
see, I know basically as a movement in our country, it began in 91 and it kind of began with us.
Hmm.
Why? Uh, that is a fact I can't change. I mean, I'm not trying to
No,
be
not at all.
a
But
dick
that's a
about
fact.
it,
Yeah,
but
yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's how it was. But yes, there were bands, and supposedly, I had never heard them, but supposedly some great bands from India
Hmm.
in different parts. There was a band called the Great Society
Hmm.
in
Hmm.
the Northeast, in I think Shillong
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
specifically. There was a band in Delhi called Electric Plant,
Okay.
and supposedly they were like this magical band.
Hmm. Hmm. Hmm.
And there were quite a lot of bands supposedly, but you can imagine, the like 70s when the real thing is happening in England and in America. The same kind of thing in India was just like gotten independence 30, 40 years
Yeah.
back. How big can you make that,
Correct.
literally that
Yeah.
time? I think we were lucky, to a great extent. I'll tell you one thing which don't not many people realize is that we started off doing a lot of Doors covers.
Hmm.
Doors and Pink Floyd were one of our favorite bands,
Right.
and a lot of Led Zepp and
Hmm.
Floyd and Doors.
Hmm.
And the movie Doors had come out that very year,
Okay.
and before that, in at least what I knew, in people around me, not many people even knew about the Doors.
Hmm.
So that kind of really helped to just kickstart the whole movement right up there.
Hmm.
I think we owe a lot to that film as well. Yeah,
Nice, nice. And how was it in those days when you guys had just began, when that wave of English and that wave of rock and roll was just coming into India, and then you guys were the pioneers of it? What was the initial experience like for you?
it was great fun, man. I mean, I'll tell you honestly, it still is
Hmm.
every single day. Even like after 30 years, even now, every single gig that you play is like you become that little child who's going on stage for the first time and is excited to play his first gig and ready to show the world what all he can do,
Hmm.
thinking that he can do magic, but he can
Sure.
do just about just about enough to not get booed off stage. But
No, I'm sure you guys did a lot more than that. But yeah.
uh, it's the same thing. It just used to feel great, and it still feels great, man. That's all I can say.
Hmm.
But the great thing was that there was just so much of rock shows, so many rock shows that after a few years kept on steadily declining, like especially in colleges.
Hmm.
Like earlier, there every college, every single college would have a rock night for
Yeah.
sure.
And they would have their
They might have other stuff.
fest nights. Yeah.
Yeah, then the Punjabi music, then DJ nights, then Bollywood nights. Slowly, up now there are hardly many the things which really have rock shows that often.
And that's actually going to be something that I wanted to talk to you about. That was very important to understand, is why has there been this sudden, not sudden, I would say it's been gradual, because I remember when I was studying, even back then until 2004, it was pretty huge. I mean, it was at its best and the biggest, I think, back in the early 2000s, late
Yeah.
90s period. I have been to your concert, trivia for people watching. I've been to I've been to Parikrama's concerts in Bangalore. I used to study there. I
Oh
went to your
wow.
concert where Iron Maiden had performed and you had opened. I think it was called Palace Grounds, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken.
Palace Grounds, 2007.
I even remember a few jokes you had cracked on stage, but
Don't tell me, don't.
it was hilarious. It was about a neighboring country. But anyway,
Yeah.
it's interesting how that decline began because Bollywood music was still huge in the 90s. But you
It
guys
always
managed to hold
was.
your own. You guys managed to
Yeah.
introduce the audiences to a completely, of course, it was a niche audience, but you guys managed to create your own space and was a big space. Why
Yeah.
was that decline happening? Is that because also internationally rock was starting to sort of die down, maybe?
I don't know how much impact the international thing would have had on India's music scene, because India's Bollywood is not the biggest form of music abroad.
Hmm.
I mean, at least I hope not. I hope it's Indian classical. People like Zakir Hussain, Ravi Shankar, these are the names that people abroad, musicians, respect and know of more than anyone else.
Hmm.
And I think that it is because everything must change. That's natural law of creation, is that the cliche that the only thing constant is change. That parikrama keeps happening, the circle is moving, my friend, and I think one day it's gonna come back to a point where
Yeah.
you're gonna have rock nights in every college again, and
Right.
we're gonna be as we did about 20 years back,
Hmm.
playing two gigs every night and just having a great time.
Yeah.
I have been lucky to have a professional singing experience of 30-35 years.
That's amazing.
Now you see these ads on on social media, and every Tom, Dick, and Harry, with absolutely no regret in saying that, every Tom, Dick, and Harry wants to teach you how to play music.
Yeah.
Array bloody take take birth first, yeah, get a life first, and then you're gonna start teaching music. Have you ever even been on stage? Music is what, locking yourself up in a room, sitting on the piano, just reading from a sheet of paper to yourself, feeling good about it. That's not life, man. Come on, you gotta be able to know how to go out and rock the living daylights out of 10,000 people and make them eat out of your hands.
Yeah.
That is what you got to do. That is what is missing.
A guy like Atif Aslam, for example, these pop rock artists that came into the scene managed to blend in a lot of their sort of Bollywood music along with some elements of what one could describe as rock, but not necessarily like, rock music. How do you feel
Yeah.
they have spoiled the scene, or have they spoiled the scene, or?
No, I don't think they've spoiled the scene at all. Honestly,
Hmm.
I think they have. See, the scene, in a way, I mean, you cannot be selfish and say that the scene belongs to us,
Hmm.
to me. Rock music is the scene.
Hmm.
Music is the scene, bro. The thing is that these are, for example, the person you're talking about, for example, of whatever he added that rock element in songs, and then you had them in almost all Mahesh Bhatt films, that kind
Exactly.
of music,
Yeah, yeah.
I think that added so much of a depth and a variety to the kind of music which is already the biggest selling genre, which is Bollywood music. It increased the whole spectrum of that sound by 200%,
Hmm.
and in somewhere in there managed to introduce and keep and get accepted by the audience, the rickshawalas, and your electrician and your plumber, and those are your real consumers in terms of Bollywood, in terms of
Absolutely.
masses,
Yeah.
when you
The
talk
masses.
about,
Yeah. Fair enough.
if they can listen to a song by Atif Aslam where with background you have a guy playing with an overdriven guitar and feel great about it and hum along, I think you've added something really significant to the music scene as such.
Okay.
So if you notice, after that there's been a lot of much more of rock music
Yeah, I'm
in
noticing
in
that.
Hindi films
Yeah.
after that. So actually, it's been a blessing.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen that in most of Farhan Akhtar's movies. He blends that in pretty
Definitely.
well.
Yeah.
So I guess I now see what you're saying. I think I stand
Yeah.
corrected. Yeah, interesting. So, what was your take on the bands that were you know, at their pinnacle of their success? Whatever bands you guys were sort of compared to, example, Pentagram, for example, Zero. What was your take on them? How would you guys sort of
I
look at
think they
each
were
other?
all
Was there a lot of
awesome.
competition?
Uh, Not really, because we were all very different bands, very very different. Pentagram and Parikrama are two totally different bands.
Mm-hmm.
Pentagram and Indiscreet are two totally different bands. So all the guys who were big at that time, when Parikrama, Pentagram, Zero, them clones, Indiscreet, they're all good doing together. Like, the kind of stuff Vishal does with Pentagram is totally, the music is very different from the kind of stuff we do. Our covers are
Sure.
sorry, originals are very different.
Hmm.
And in fact, I would say that our music is more, if at all you want to compare it to another band, is more on the lines of
Indian
more
Ocean.
comparable with Indiscreet
Hmm.
than either Zero or Pentagram. So there, nothing else. We always used to have so much fun together because we knew we were both gonna rock different parts of the audience in that particular night.
Yeah.
Because
This
like
is
a Pentagram fan is gonna come there to listen to Pentagram. A
correct.
Parikrama fan is gonna come there to listen to Parikrama.
Sure. Sure. Any
So
interesting anecdotes from the times that you guys performed for like big acts, like them clones? Of course, you guys
a
opened
big
for.
act. I'll tell you something that happened on that concert you were at the Iron Maiden concert. 2007. I'm standing literally because half of the stage was kind of covered or stuff, and like tarpaulin was put on top of that because it had the all the gear of Iron Maiden,
Uh-huh.
so there was not much space for us.
Okay.
So we're not really in the center. I think I was like more towards the right side of the stage near the wings. And so we start the first song, and the explosive energy itself, it just tried to blow it out of the park.
Hmm.
And these Iron Maiden guys come running out of their green rooms,
Hmm.
but we don't know that's happening because that's in behind the stage. They just heard something had started and they liked the sound so much they came running
Oh,
out,
wow.
and they were standing in the wings. Bruce Dickinson and the couple of other guys were standing like 5 feet away from me on my right in the wings. But I thought they were roadies.
Hmm.
I thought they were the tech guys because they all were wearing black shirts and these long shorts, and they all looked the same at that time. And the other guys were too far off on that side to see, anyways.
Hmm.
So I thought they were the tech guys, and Bruce had just got a haircut. So he didn't even have long hair. I mean, we all know them from posters and magazines, and so, and the first time, and he's okay, Bruce. I'm sorry, but he's kind of short.
Okay.
So you don't think that he for the life of me, I could never thought that this is Bruce Dickinson standing there doing this, great, sounding good, man. This that. Like, really cool. Can I just fucking sing my song now? Shut the fuck up. And there was this my bottle of water, which is it's kept on the stage somehow from in front of me, was kept right. Somehow someone had put it right on that side.
Huh.
So I pointed to Bruce Dickinson to pick up that
Oh
bottle
my
and give
lord.
to me in the middle of the song while I'm singing because I don't want to leave the mic.
Okay.
But I need to have, because my throat is drying up really fast because I'm singing really high notes. So luckily it's a wireless mic. I take it off the stand. I walk up till there, like, snatch the bottle out of his hand, open it up, have my gulp of water, put it back, continue. And after the concert, I got to know that what I just the person who had misbehaved with so badly was Bruce Dickinson.
Oh my
So
god.
I was the one person who didn't have the sharam to go to their green room after the gig to say to meet them or anything. I was like, no. Iron Maiden had come out of their green room to our green room
That's
to
incredible.
congratulate us and say, "Ki, guys, you gotta make it to Download Festival and come over in June and we should play together.
And
You
you did
should
that,
tour."
right? Like
Yeah,
you
we did
after
that. It
yeah.
happened.
Incredible.
This is the kind of stuff you see in those old 90s Hindi movies कि ये हो जाएगा, मैं तुम्हें star बना दूंगा and all that stuff. But these guys said कि come and we'll tour all over England. We're like,
Wow.
okay, we'll do that. So we kept in touch. We got it done. We got
You
booked
were
our tickets.
personally in touch with these guys.
Yeah, with the management, our
Acha.
management with their management. I mean,
Okay.
they're too
They're
professional. You don't
too
just pick
big.
up the phone and call up Bruce Dickin and say, "हाँ भाई क्या हो रहा है? Big Boss देख रहा है?" You don't do that. It doesn't work like that. I mean, if
Any
in
crazy like fan stories, people coming up and
lots
like,
of them, I know somebody who has the girl who has my face tattooed on her arm,
well, on
and
her
then
arm is good enough.
yeah, I mean, she did get married, and then she did had to get that changed into something else.
I mean,
And
see, so were you always long haired previously, or did you have this bald look?
I had really long hair till about 10, 12 years back,
Huh.
and after that, I've just been a skinhead.
So when she got the tattoo, was it that of a skinhead Subir Malik or the one
No,
with the hair?
no, Nitin Malik.
Sorry, Nitin, man. I told you. I'm so sorry. Huh.
We're not missing Subir at all. Every time, every 5 minutes, somehow his name is coming up. No, I had
So,
long hair, and I even remember that at that time there's a venue is called Rangmanch in Calcutta,
acha.
where the ramp extends right into the audience, and
Huh.
she was standing there with a camera, a digital camera. When I walked with the mic right up till the audience, and I was like, when you say something and you want them to, you point the mic towards them or something like that. That is when I saw that flash go off.
Oh.
And then a year later, when I saw that tattoo, I remembered that kurta, the design, and everything.
Mhm.
I remembered the exact moment that flash was taken.
I'll try
It
and
was it
find
was
this
quite
tattoo. I'll
crazy.
try and find this person's tattoo if it's still
That
available
tattoo is
online.
not there anymore. I told you she got
Acha.
married.
Huh. Correct.
Wow. Yeah. You wouldn't want that person looking at my face, the husband, whenever he would feel affectionate towards the wife.
Oh man, that is one
You
crazy.
don't want to look at the long haired dude.
Yeah.
So
And try to
yeah,
make it look like Mona Lisa then or change it to something else.
I saw. I mean, I saw a kind of a blurry picture of it had changed into some weird tribal design.
Crazy.
Like, I was like, good.
Chalo.
People need to move on.
Wow. But that I mean when you're touring in
Yeah,
in
yeah.
general.
While we were touring, or when we were having like
So women come up to you and you get hit on all the time being the
all the
rockers.
time. I'll be honest. It was a lot of times. And there are 10 different women who are willing to come and to be with me in my room.
Yeah,
That's been happening for time immemorial from like the 40s.
right.
I mean, this has been going on, and why shouldn't I, man?
Yeah.
Come
So
on.
there could be more than one tattoo out there is what I was getting at.
But I was scared because I've heard there are like couple of kids roaming around somewhere in this country with my DNA.
One of your biggest hits of all time, which was our college anthem whenever we sat around, had drinks. Uh, when the party was coming to an end, typically it was starting to get a little somber. The mood is when we would play "But It Rained." Of course,
Yeah,
remains etched in all our memories.
yeah.
How did that song happen? Why did that song happen? Background.
Uh, it was basically a lot of kidnappings and everything uh, in Kashmir in particular by
Hmm.
these terrorists. They kidnap people, and it's and then the families who are back home till the time they don't know what the fate of their loved ones is. The song is from the point of view of the families, because I thought that you need the families are always as brave as the person who's missing,
Hmm.
because they are the ones who are in uncertainty about the state of the person they love, and they need to fight it out second after second, minute after minute, waiting for that phone to ring, and it could be any news at all.
Hmm.
So it was from their point of view, it was a kind of a salute to those families
Mm-hmm.
who have had to go through this horrible experience.
Right. And did you guys meet with Kashmiris at all? Had you had the opportunity? Did you have the opportunity to meet them yourself, or
Uh,
because
it
back then
was
I'm imagining situations was obviously the situation was not as
yeah.
tense as it is today at the border and within
No,
the state.
we didn't meet. I could just lie about it as most film stars do and say, for this role, I went and stayed for 2 days with this family, and nothing of that sort. And my heart was just bleeding with pain at reading these stories day in and day out here.
Hmm.
I did not need to go there and be and add to their pain and then tell me more, tell me more. So, how was it? And make notes so that I could write a song. I just felt it. I could just feel the pain reading those articles in that India Today and other magazine that used to come, and our DD News and every day now. Somebody from the army has been kidnapped. Somebody from the villages has been kidnapped, and where somebody's bodies have been found, and headless corpses are found, and it was a crazy time. I mean, it's still Kashmir is still there's lots of
Yeah.
crazy stuff still happening. Let's hope. And with the recent events in Afghanistan, God knows what is gonna happen now. I mean, from whatever I'm hearing and everything, I just hope everything remains the way it is because I think we've got it kind of under control. Let's hope it kind of stays that way
Hmm.
and gets better. I mean, just for once, let that place be normal. I don't think that place has seen normalcy since that whole Kashmiri Pandit thing started happening decades ago.
Hmm.
So, anyways, we were talking about that song. Yeah, I'm sorry, I again went off
No, that's
topic.
cool. That's cool. That's cool.
I didn't have to go and meet with people to feel their pain.
Hmm. That's
One
interesting.
thing when I think when I really feel if when you're born a musician, your sensitivity levels are already a little bit higher
Elevated. Hmm.
than most people. You feel somebody else's happiness also a little more. You feel really excited and overjoyed of that somebody's got something really good going for them,
Hmm.
or when something really bad happens to somebody you know, or even if you don't know. So it was just one of those things, and it really hurt me a lot. And but I just put it down. I mean,
Hmm.
one thing I know is how to write a song. That's about all I know. So I did the only thing I could.
Right. We'll go one note even more somber now because I really feel it's important we talk about Sonam Sherpa, who's been such an important part of Parikrama, and I think a permanent, uh, indissolvable aspect, even though he's no longer with us today.
He's such a jovial guy, always laughing, making people laugh. That was his biggest quality. He could make anyone laugh at any time, and just it would just come so naturally to him. He don't even have to like dig out some old joke or something. He would just do stuff.
Yeah.
And he was just a he was just a great guy. He was a great friend. He was like a brother. He was like family.
Hmm.
30 years, I literally, and how many of those years he would have stayed at this very house. It's unbelievable. The most dedicated musician amongst all of us,
Wow.
because he had this huge Parikrama school of music running. So he would be on flights and hotels. He would be like owning his craft, reading more and more about other guitar players, other music theory, going on and on, higher, great. He could not sit idle for 10 seconds in like we would say, okay, let's go out to have a cigarette break. So everyone would be going, he would catch hold of me. Acha, acha tu baith na, yes son. And he would play a riff and sing something on top of this. Na. I said, let me go smoke. No. Arey, abhi karte hain. Just sing something on top. I made this riff. He is like one
Amazing.
of those people.
So I think we're
But
pretty
I'll
much.
tell you one thing. You thought that Sonam would be like a somber topic, like you thought it would be, but it's always something that now we've come to a time where it always only brings smiles to our faces because we remember only those funny and happy times, and we always feel great about it.
Yeah.
So there's nothing somber about it anymore. It's just physically he is not there. Physically, nobody's gonna be there anymore after
Anyways,
their time is over,
yeah.
after their parikrama is done.
After the Parikrama is done. So well said. So well said. So anything in the pipeline coming up?
Finally starting like a hardcore online rock school kind of
Oh, nice.
thing, just alone, just me, myself, just me, one on one, one student with me, just like we are talking right now. I've already made the curriculum, and
Oh,
we're going
that's
to start
cool,
it
bro.
off in another 5 6 days. Yeah,
Uh,
we're working on a right now another new song,
uh-huh.
and we're very lazy people. People call us very hardworking. We're hardworking also, but we're very lazy also.
Right.
I think there's a new song which is gonna be coming out very soon, which I've written a long time back, but finally started making music to it and putting things together.
Right.
And so, because I'll be busy with this new thing about coaching
Sure.
new students that I told you about, so I think Subir and Srijan are going to be meeting up and finishing up the music aspect of that in
Okay.
about a couple of weeks' time, and then we hit the studio and we just record that song and we release it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Nitin, thank you so much. Do you want to say anything to your fans while you have the opportunity?
Oh, trust me. Yes, I am a musician, but last thing I would want to talk about or give you a tip about or gyan about is would be about music.
Acha.
No, it's nothing like that. It all I want to say is life is short. Make the most of it. Do what makes you happy. I know you've heard this a million times, but
Yeah.
if you do what makes you happy, you will not have to work for a single day in your life. Trust me.
Mm, that sounds.
And you'll get good sleep.
Right. Such a pleasure talking to you, Nitin. Thanks again for
Pleasure,
making
yeah.
the time. I really appreciate it. I would
You're
like to have
most
a meeting with Subir. Hopefully, he will be in better dental condition. And
I'll make it happen. Don't worry. I'll make it happen
awesome, brother. Awesome.
once he's
You
there.
take care. God bless. Stay safe.
Thank you so much. Yeah, it
All
was
right.
lovely being here. Thank you so much for inviting me, and all the other cliche bullshit that everyone else says. I'm not gonna say that. I really had a great time. You're a
Right.
wonderful host. I wish you all the best,
Thank you so
and
much.
I hope to see you again soon sometime. All right.
Sounds like a plan.
Take care, brother.
Parikrama. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. It is my honor to have none other than the legendary Subir Malik. Sorry, Nitin. Oh man, I just fucked that up. Sorry.